Good morning. Thank you for creating time for the social hour. Karibu sana to the program today as we seek to talk about something a bit different. Leo si mambo ya mapenzi. We want to get real. Let's talk about real life issues. I'm not saying love is not real life, but ile kitu ina affect vijana out there. Actually, 60% of the population in Africa inasemekana kwamba are those who are aged below 35 years. And that's why when we are talking about the issue of employment, and it's also significant to talk about underemployment, this is a ticking time bomb. If not addressed, it could actually throw the whole globe and, in fact, our entire continent into a crisis if we are not there already. So we want to talk about the challenge of unemployment and underemployment in our country. What are the issues? Why are we where we are? And these young people who are not currently absorbed in the job market, where are they? What are they doing with their lives? How are they navigating? And what are the issues you're supposed to know if you want to tap the opportunities around you, if they're there? So my panel will help me get to understand the realities on the ground. And I have a panel of three, of course. Munawajua, the amazing panel that usually munasema uko inje wanawasaidia every Tuesday. Just by the ukiangalia feedback, you guys are doing an amazing job. And it's good to have you. Wacha nianzie CJ. Sisi kama kamera inaweza zoom luku imepigwa na atafuti kazi, so anakanikani ana interview watu yendi ana haya. So leo anyway, CJ, good to see you.
Good to see you as well. How are you doing?
Good. I'm good.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Leo umeamua yani are you hiring? Because we are talking about jobs.
Well, I am.
Okay, that's good to know.
I am.
Cutie.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mko salama?
Tuko salama.
As usual, mnakaa fiti nyinyi wote, mnakaa poa. Big up Mr. Josh, by the way, ameniambia niwasalimie kama kawaida.
Tumepokea sana.
We are ready for this.
Hi, Roberta. Now the classic. Hiyo jina wezi sema any other. I've tried, guys. Forgive me. Roberta.
Jana my dad alisema simsalimiangi, so hi daddy, hi mom, hi Chris, hi everyone at home, hi my neighbors.
Leo nisikia kutuma salamu.
Yeah, I like the way you talked about like the feedback. We really do see your comments, you guys.
Yeah.
We see everything you write for us in the DMs, and it's really fulfilling and satisfying to see that the things we talk about actually impact people's lives. Even if they don't really change per se, like they do the introspection and they start to think about, oh wow, I never saw it from that perspective. So, shukrani. I love it. And you guys look amazing.
Thank you. So let's begin this discussion. And tuanzie Roberta.
Okay.
I mean, ukiangalia sahi world, there is a lot of, I would say, hopelessness. Young people are really trying so hard to make ends meet and even just get these opportunities out there. But ukiongea na mayouths uko nje. But if you're watching this and you're in an office na uko kwa biashara yako, you need to appreciate these little things about life. Yeah? Kama uko na kazi, uko na kazi, appreciate.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this crisis. Where are these jobs? What's happening? Why are we suddenly, it's not even sudden. It's actually a problem that has been growing over the years. Mbona tuko where we are from where you sit?
The reason actually I wanted to discuss this is because, I thought it was an isolated issue. I thought it was just a few people I know. But then when you look across board, I realize that most of the people who are around my age, right now they're actually really struggling. They don't have jobs. Business, like environment is not very conducive. And then kuna group flani ya millennials, wale walizaliwa 96, 95, 97. Wako na fear ya millennials, alafu bado wako na confidence ya the Gen Z people. So while they're very ready to get out there and get stuff done, they're also still very, very scared. Because I'd say people largely from my demographic, nobody was encouraging us to, mi niko kwa ile generation ya shulembwa, endeni shule, mkimaliza muende sijui college, mkimaliza muolewe, mkimaliza utapata job, alafu utabai gari, alafu
utajenga.
We did all these things and then now we're so confused because it's actually not working out. jobs tunatafuta hatupati. Hatuna hiyo confidence kama ya like the younger Gen Z or like people who are maybe much older than us, have much more experience ya kuanza businesses. We're not very, very skilled. Like we do have skills, but like nobody really encouraged us, because si tulikuwa tuna encourage you, stay in school, do your maths, do your chemistry. Now we're out here very confused, very shocked by the world. We don't know what to do, we don't know where to go, we don't know what to start. And it's actually a big, big issue, because hata venye tumesema leo to discuss love, unajua kuna mapenzi, romance ni ngumu bila pesa.
Hautakula mapenzi.
Ni ngumu sana. Tutapiga story gani ama tutapigia story wapi? Kama hatuwezi atalipa rent. So it's an actual issue. It's a real big problem. So many people right now wanateseka, hakuna pesa, hakuna jobs. It's just, and you know, this is the time like we're watching our parents start to age at home. We feel so helpless. We're not even able to share punch 500 bob, 1,000 bob. Your parents took you to higher education, and now you can't even. It's really scary.
Yeah, and that's the sad reality of a majority of young people out there. QTV unatupatianga reality kwa ground. Tunasema hakuna jobs. And when I began the show, I said, you know, if this problem, it's a ticking time bomb. Isipoadresiwa huenda mambo ikachemka. So what are the likely challenges or crises that tunaweza incur in case tusiaddress issue ya youth unemployment? My youth wanafanya nini kwa ground? Where are they? What are they doing with their lives? What are the risks, you know?
Safin, kuna two different types of youths. Kuna wale wenye wame decide, I'm not gonna sit back and wait for someone to employ me. Kuna mayouths, mtu anaamka anaenda mjengo. Mjengo unaweza patata hiyo so 8, so 6, and you go and work hard for it and come back at home with that so 6. But kuna wale mayouths wenye wanataka ku sit back and get it easy. Hakuna ku get it easy, Safin. But I think the biggest challenge is that tumeambiwa tuende shule. Vile Bobby amesema, we've been told go to school. Tumeenda shule, uko na papers, mazee wasi wako na masters huku nje. Like watu wako na time wamesoma, wametulia. But ukienda ku apply hizo job unaambiwa, unapata job inasema 5 years experience. Okay, nafaa kutoa wapi 5 years? Nimetoka shule. Unaniambia 5 years experience. What do you mean 5 years experience? Unajua saizi watu wanafaa kuadapt na venye changes, venye times zimechange. Saizi it's not about experience. What are you bringing to the table? Like what can you offer me? Saizi ukikuja na saizi generation ya saizi wanaleta vitu mob. They are so creative. I'm so amazed by Gen Z. Like hawa wase wanakuja wanakuletea vitu zingine hadi wewe mwenyewe unakaa chini unasema wow, they are really creative. Alafu saizi vitu mob zimecome up. Safin, saizi sio zile jobs zenye ulikuwa unaendaga ati lazima uko umetoka shule sasa umeenda. Saizi watu wanafanya job even without the papers. People are actually watu wana start up ma business zao saizi. Unapata mse hata tulikuwa actually that's a coincidence because we were talking about in the makeup room and I was like the person who makes my hair, she's been making my hair for the longest time ever, and actually she's built herself making my hair. Yani nikiangalia huyo dem vile ame progress na hajai kuwa employed in her lifetime, hajai enda salon ya mtu like yani it's self-taught, self-made. Like yeye mwenyewe amekaa chini akajifunza kutengeneza nywele na saizi amekuwa pro. Unacheki hata yenyewe tu venye tunakaa amekuwa pro yani. Kuna mtu ame notice akaniambia by the way QT unakaa fiti, una get. So squeezy vitu hata nails nowadays wanaitwa nails technician, like wanajiita technicians, like mwenye ananitengeneza nails actually yeye ndo alinifunza anaitwa technician. Nowadays watu wameamua ni aje kama hatupati hizi job si tujitengeneze hizi majob. Unapata msee anaweza kuangalia tu hivi akwambia naweza kumake dress, uko na event naweza kaa chini akaitu chini na machine akutengeneze dress. That's where we are headed right now, because right now tukitegemea tukisema tukae chini Safina tutegemee msee akuandike job, imagine itakuwa hard. Okay, millennials, Gen X tulikuwa lucky enough tulipata hizo majob, lakini hata nikwambie Safina, even if I give you my story, mimi imekuwa like tuseme nimepata job juzi tu, si ati kitambo. Safin, mimi sijakuwa job for long na mali nilikuwa imefika, nilikuwa so frustrated, I will not lie to you. Nilikuwa nimeingia kwa hizo ma websites, unajua hizo websites zenye unaingiaga manze unaanza kuapply, sasa unaanza kutafuta job literally. You go from office to office, unaenda una drop CV yako hata kama unajua tu atatupa kwa dustbin, but unaenda unaambia cheki mimi yenyewe mimi niko poa na ina ABCD, you get at the end of the day. So mimi nilikaa sana na nilikuwa frustrated, hiyo sitakudanganya Safin, I was really frustrated. And I remember when I applied for job yenye nilipataga huko RMS and it was in 2016, nilikuwa nime give up. That was my last straw. So hata nikituma hiyo CV to be really honest, hata sikuwa nime-update. Nilikuwa tu zile za RMS jo. Acha tu nijaribu. Nikatuma tu CV ile ya maze nilikuwa nimefika mwisho. But before that, nilikuwa nimejituma, nimefanya vitu zenye hata they don't have to do with media. You get? Ile tu umeamua, unajua ni aje, mimi nitafanya kenye inakam. Ile kenye inakam, nitafanya. But kenye naweza sema saizi ni kujituma Safin. Not necessarily when they were employee when I'm saying, if you can do something with your hands, I think that is a beautiful thing to do right now.
And I like what you've done with the question, because you've taken us to the positive side of looking at things. See the way space of whereby a young person ana hopes, ana kitu ya kufanya, ana
ako in despair,
like
true.
You've taken us to actually change your mind.
Mindset. Change your mindset.
Differently. Look at where the world is going, not where we are coming from.
True that.
CJ, tulifikaje hapa? Do you think we've let down our young people? Because mtu aliambiwa akisoma apite, vitu zinafaa flow. That was supposed to be there. What is happening? Watu wako na ma-PhD, watu wako na masters. But this is masters si kitu ya kuringia. Everyone has one. So how comes things are not working?
I think it's a combination of a lot of factors. And one of the factors is that over the years, we've closed down so many industries. And industries would still remain the highest employers anywhere. So when factories are being shut down, when the manufacturing industry is being affected, you're going to have joblessness, because where are you going to send these graduates? And this is a global thing. For example, Unilever was laying off 7,500 people across the globe. And about 2,500 of them were in Europe. We've had a lot of exits, even in this country, where people will sometimes take their manufacturing companies and their factories to other countries. I know of a fast-moving consumer good manufacturer who was supposed to move to Ethiopia, just that Ethiopia had the political upheaval. Several years ago, Coca-Cola moved to Morocco. There was a time when Asa moved to Uganda and felt that it was cheaper to manufacture the computers in Uganda and then bring them over here. So it's a combination of factors. When you have these things of industries shutting down, sometimes because of the taxation laws, sometimes because of corruption within the system, and they feel that this environment does not favor their business and they leave. And when they do, it means that people will lose jobs. When these people lose jobs, even when we talk about, when we talk about people going into their entrepreneurship, so who will be your customer? Because if the people are not earning, then who is going to spend?
Don't have the purchasing power.
So we all are jobless. So we all are going to start from the scratch, and we really will not have customers that could sustain that business. So one of those is the business environment. There has got to be a support for people who actually start up or bring industries into the country or start local industries. Because sometimes, again, there is favor towards the foreign manufacturers than to the local ones. There's just the stigma that when you're black, everything around you is criminal, you know. So sometimes it's easier to bring in a multinational, but even those ones have been leaving. So that's one of the things that I think brought us here. The second would be how our education system was structured. That we have people who have papers, yes, but do they even have life skills? So you'll see somebody with a master's, you'll see somebody with a bachelor's. I sent about 17 young people to a certain company at some point. There was an opportunity for internship, and only one of them made it to the last interview. And most of them, just basic lack of confidence. Communication is a whole issue, because sometimes these guys are spending so much time on phones that they don't know how to converse. They can't have a face-to-face conversation. They cannot have an eyeball-to-eyeball conversation. They cannot structure one sentence completely, because you're always texting and, you know, you look for all the shortcuts and stuff. So when you come there, you don't even know how to sit up. You don't even know how to talk sometimes. So as much as then this person may score an A or a B in academics, now when you bring this person into a space where they need to relate with people, talk to people, they need to speak about the things they write down, they may not. So it's the structure again of the system where the books were for a very long time magnified above practical skills. When you go back to the systems that were like eliminated in the early 80s, 763, by the time somebody's going to high school, from 5 and 6, they would focus on 3 subjects. Those days, people would be in school up to about 3 p.m. So you have a lot of other time, but the subjects were not too many. Then it was very practical. Then there were things like the technical schools and colleges, which I think were being brought back at some point, but then also the stigma around it, where somebody thinks if you didn't go to campus, then any other college is not significant. But we used to have technical schools, leave alone even colleges, technical schools, high schools that were technical schools. And you'd get companies before, like DT Dobby and stuff, getting their staff from those schools because these guys were trained in engineering from high school. And they were very highly skilled. So there's the aspect also of the education system. Then now there's our societal outlook, where there is the thinking that when I get out of school, I need to get a good job so that I live a good life. We didn't train ourselves that you go to school to get education so that your mind would be open, then you become a creative. So today we think creatives are only the people who are influencers on social media. But I'm supposed to come from school and then I'll begin to think, what can I do with what I have? Again, it cuts on both sides because if the environment is not very conducive, if, for example, government laws come against young people who are trying to set up, you've got all these licenses to get, you've got so much that you need to prove, then these kids won't start anything as well. So there's so many factors that are getting us there that even when somebody wants to start something, he has to fight with so many laws and requirements. There is no funding. There is no support. You meet corrupt police who are always coming in and extorting you, or KRA, or county officials and stuff like that. So there are many factors that would put us where we find ourselves with people not having.
I like how you opened up that cocktail of factors. So it's not just like a linear source of challenge. It's sort of like things that work together to create this big crisis that we are currently facing. Right. One thing I want you to touch on also, Roberta, is the social aspect, because you're talking about the academic aspect of how the system sort of like failed the young people from how they were being prepared for the future of work. So let's look at the social side. Even at home, uko nyumbani, the things we were told growing up, what society believed success looks like, just talk about, how the social environment failed the young people for the future of work.
Oh my God, just listening to CJ, I'm just wishing someone should have talked to me 10 years ago. So much earlier, like I would have, because honestly, especially for the high achieving kids, the introverted kids, basically, or the kids who come from very strict families who are not allowed to mingle, to network. I find the extra, kwanza from my high school, the noise-makers, the loud kids, the ones who are always out for drama, those are the ones who I see them like... I'm not saying the others didn't need, but the high achievers, like the quiet ones, the ones who didn't know how to really make friends a lot, they're really struggling because nobody was really pushing them, Out here in the real world, you need to know people. You can have, and I don't mean know people for corruption, I mean like networking. Because the reason sometimes tumepata opportunities is because I know CJ, I know QT, I know Safin. So, Safin akipata opportunity ataniambia Bobby, come. But sasa kama singekuwa talkative, ama singekuwa naongea na wewe, opportunities kama hizo zinanipita. So I wish CJ has explained it so well. I wish someone had these talks with us and told us, you know what? Yes, books is important, but the actual reason you're in school is you need to talk to people. You need to explore your creative side. And also our parents. Our parents, they don't know they were kind of stagnating us in you know, being very, very strict, because even them, that's all they knew. They knew you go to school, you do this, your life works out. Because them, my mom is always telling, my parents are always telling me how walikuwa natoka form 6 kama wanaitwa job, as in ni hao wanaitwa wanapata letters.
There were those days. Kwa university
mnangoja.
mnatafutwa kujeni hapa mfanye kazi.
Saizi uko skilled. I can't tell you the number of times I've been told I'm wanaitanga overqualified. So unashanga, unashanga, okay, sasa ni do, sina job, sina do, sina anything. Munaniambia
overqualified.
What should I do now? You know, like you apply other jobs. This one just unazungushwa. Even sometimes those connections are not very azisaidi sana kwa sababu hizo factors Sija amesema. Kuna opportunity alafu hauna pesa, ama kuna space alafu hausupportiwi, lazima sijui registration, license. Mimi mtoto, me a small young girl, where am I going to get all that money to do all those things, you know? And in as much as I know, you know, the social thing, I think the best way to encourage people socially is mi kenye watu nawambianga wakikuja kuniuliza, because sometimes people approach me, hook me up, they don't know even me, I'm unemployed. But the thing I did with myself is exactly what CJ was explaining. I found out what my skills were. I found out what I was really, really good at, and I focused on that. I made a niche for myself, and I decided this is what I'm doing. I'm going to improve the way I speak, improve the way I look, improve my knowledge on certain topics. Nini na hizo vitu in the end zikakuwa lucrative for me. But then it's taken years. It's taken so many years. Sometimes you look at your peers and you see, you know, they've reached the places you wanted to be at that age. Like, I have friends who are driving the dream cars, living in amazing homes, traveling the way they wanted. Tulikuwa shule same, tulikuwa na opportunity same, tulikuwa na
shida. Sasa ilianzia wapi? What happened?
So it's just the important thing is, first of all, not to compare yourself to other people. Kila mtu ako na time yake na lane yake. And also what I would encourage is, especially the parents and also the people, the youth, just harness your powers in whatever it is that you like. Kama uko interested in cars, go all out in those cars. Kama uko interested in hair, venye Cutie amesema. Even me, the lady who does my hair, she's been doing my hair for 15 years. And she's almost my age. So you can ameniacha tu na miaka kama 5. So that's someone who's under living all these years, raising her kids now, taking her kids to school, just from the skills she learned from her hands. So while it's very difficult, it's a difficult situation to navigate, I say, hizo skills zako, they're never too small. Just have confidence in them and then encourage yourself and encourage your kids. Usifungie mtoto ati unaonanga akicheza football na hajafanya homework. Maybe kuna kitu hapo kwa hiyo football.
But our parents were not ready to think.
They weren't. Wacha
you're a good footballer.
Wacha nikwambie,
rudi class usome kwanza. Ati mnaenda trip
wapi?
Rudi usome.
Mimi hata hii journalism, but I really had to convince my mom. My mom was not getting what journalism was. She was like, what is this you're talking about? My mom has always been like, it's either ukwe doctor ama ukwe mwalimu. Unajua hizo ndo zilikuwa enzi zetu, hizo ndo vitu zilikuwa zina make it in life. So when she's talking about it, I'm like, by the way, wazazi, you need to let your kids be. Unajua hiyo football saizi, angalia footballers wetu, hiyo football si ndio inalipa bill saizi. At the end of the day, that football influencing right now. Kuingia tu social media kwa hiyo kamera, kuna mtu analipa bills zake na hiyo social media. Me, all my life, my mom has always been like, by the way, hii Facebook, hii simu, hii nini. My mom, by the way, si ati kwa ubaya, lakini my mom never really understood me at that point. Lakini mimi kitu ilinisaidia, it's because nilisimama na career yangu na nikasema, unajua ni aje mom, this is what I'm doing and I'm not going back on it. Like indo nataka. Na kama sio wacha ikae. I was just like, by the way, if you don't, so I aliniambiaga tu, wewe toka uende ufanye hizo vitu zao unataka kwenda, si tutalipa, but mimi si understand bado ni unataka kufanya. But right now, at least she's able to understand what I do. And just to add up on venye nilianza nikasema saizi hatuwezi ngoje hizi majob. Safin, hatuwezi kaa home tuseme tunangojea. Yes, time ya Gen X, time ya millennials tulingojea na jobs zikakam, but though it take time. But right now, Safin, wase wanaingia online. Watu people are DJing online, people are selling clothes online, people are selling bags. Unaona msee ameingia, and then you see like 10 people have already paid for those bags. Anaingia tu online anasema hii bag ni ndo ipe bill number, na kuna mtu analipa hiyo bag anasema nimelipa hiyo deposit. So at the end of the day, saizi dynamics zimechange. It's no longer about kwenda kwa office setup. Mimi hata siku hizi sionangi by the way watu wanataka, hata naonaga wase wanasema mimi sitaki kukuwa employed. Nani ako na hiyo courage ya kusema hivyo? Nani hataki? Unajua watu wametoka kwa comfort zone, cheki sitaki kukuwa employed.
8 to 5
hata sitaki kuwa 8 to 5. Mimi kwanza nataka niamke. Naona hata watu wanamka 4. Unachikimsia ameshafanya job yake between 4 to 10. By the time ifike 10, yeye ashamaliza ameingiza do yake. Sasa ameenda, kama ni kulala ameenda kulala, kama ni kufanya vitu zingine ameenda kufanya vitu zingine. So saizi point yenye imefika Safin ni pia sisi as youths, we go out there. We go look for that opportunity. We actually skill yako venye Bobby amesema, like what are you good at? Kama ni hiyo nywele, jifunze kusonga hiyo nywele. Kama ni hizo nails, kama ni hiyo makeup. Watu wanatengeneza makeup na wanalipa bills makeup. Unaitwa wedo unaenda unapaka mademo ngapi makeup 10 ladies. Una get hapo umetengeneza do ngapi Safin? Skill yako mwenyewe saizi.
Alright. So do you think CJ we sort of like overemphasized on certain careers that were considered prestigious and failed to look at, you know, the kind of things that these days actually pay bills?
I think every generation has had that issue, because even when we talk about things like football right now, the reason why young boys are being drawn to it, it's how much it pays, the glamour around it. So this was doctors 40 years ago. You know, anything that is glamorous will attract people. You know, I've had this conversation. I've got 2 sons who are so much into football, and we've had a lot of conversations around that, trying to balance between their academics and football. Because again, the truth is the chances of making it in football is very slim as well. Then it's becoming more and more ruthless. You'll have very good players, and sometimes they retire very early because of injuries. So what's the fallback as well? So even as we talk about, you know, somebody finding the skills that they have and the things that they can do, we cannot negate the place of education.
Yes.
Because it is nearly the surest way for anybody to go forward. 2 things, usually education and entrepreneurship. But even with the skills, you can be very good at doing hair, very good at DJing, very good at speaking, but can you manage your money? Can you grow your business? Do you have the business acumen to the skill that you have? Sometimes you find people who are very skilled in a skilled business, but they don't have the business side to that. So the money comes in and goes. It never builds them up. Then some people know now how to grow a business, which means that even if I have skills, I still need to learn certain things about how do I manage my salon, my kiosk, my shop, and build it and scale it up. And this means that somebody has got to be very intentional. Now, what has happened with a lot of us is once we are out of school, we don't want any kind of school. We feel like we already have the papers.
Actually, people can't wait to finish school.
They can't wait.
They can't wait to finish school.
But we need to be getting a little bit more into mentorship programs, apprenticeship, because even when you talk about the 763, the Form 6 before, and even the early years of 844, people were coming out of Form 4 and are being absorbed into banks, for example, as the tellers. Those were apprenticeship programs where you come in and you begin to learn certain other things. So we need to now know, once I have the academic papers and I've qualified in this, or I have this skill, and I want to make this a career, I now need the bridge between the skill that I have and turning it into a career.
Yeah.
Because I may know how to speak, but I don't know how to turn my speaking into a business. I may know how to sing, but I don't know how to turn my music into a business. So I'll be releasing very good songs and very good music and still not be able to pay rent. I'll be a very good comedian and still be in debt and in bills because I don't know how to tie up these things. So you find somebody now who understands how to turn this into a business. And sometimes the person may not even be in your industry. Sometimes you need somebody who is good with, accounting, and they're also starting up. They just started looking for a job. So you are this, you're QT, this is your brand. And then you find somebody who's just completed their university or they've finished their CPA. They're also looking for opportunities. You agree. Look, help me with my bookkeeping, and this, we grow together. That collaboration will move a lot of us out of the space of joblessness, because this person helps you grow, and as you grow, then they're also growing.
Yeah.
But if we feel that this is my thing, so I want to run everything, and you don't even know how to manage stuff. Sometimes you've worked for a company or an industry and you think that you've acquired the skills to run a business. You start, and then you start asking yourself, so how are they paying the bills? How are they paying taxes? How are they even paying employees? Because you had the skills yet, but there was a whole system that sequestered you within that particular space. This is why even the older generation struggles with business. Just because you are a teacher does not mean you can run a school. Just because you are employed as a nurse or a doctor doesn't mean you can run a hospital. The dynamics are very different. So we still need to re-educate ourselves. We have to keep on educating ourselves in different ways. And we shouldn't say, just because I have attained this level, so I am done with school. Schooling is something that goes on every day, including every Tuesdays here.
I'm wondering, will I even continue this thing? Because I need to write some notes. You had that? That's powerful. I mean, turning your skill into a money maker. You could be talented, but kama haikulipi rent, kama haikulipi madeni uko nazo. So, I mean, what's the use of having that skill that you have? Yeah.
Kume, this show was for me. It's me who needed it. Leo, itabidi nimebook series. Nikitoka hapa.
Mapema.
Because, oh my God, yani, so many gems. You know what I'm realizing as we're speaking? Nobody has this conversation with us, and this would make such a huge difference. Nobody talked to our parents about this. Nobody talked to us about this. And this is why I think, am I envious of like the younger people and even and the people with much more experience, because at least while on experience, they've lived it. They've actually lived it. And then the younger people, they're so confident. They're so willing to learn, very ready to grow and do better and heal themselves and make more money. Sisi bado tuko hapa tunajiuliza, will someone like my post if I post it? Yeah. Will I get sales? Will I? It's just, yes, I love it because kwa hizo vitu zote, ukishapata education, skills, nini, at the end of the day, bado sa una need your confidence. Una need iyo kukua able to show up, to show out, to speak your mind, kuonesha what you're capable of doing. And wase wana beat hizo odds zote alafu wanafika hapo kwa confidence, sasa hapo ndo wana lack. And it's so, it's so difficult, it's so crazy, but I love this conversation that we're having. Honestly, nikitoka hapa, my life has improved.
Cutie, let's talk about the value of making good use of your time. We have thousands of young people who do not have a job today. Nani reality kwa ground. But as you wait for that opportunity, as you wait for the job, what are you doing with your life? I liked something about the story you were sharing with us earlier. That before ukue QT, bebe yako na show kali sana radio.
Yeah, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
From 10 to 1 by the mskize udem. Yeah, before ukue uyo star wa radio, radio queen. There were things you did that do not even necessarily go with what you're doing today. Talk to us about the value and the beauty of just making good use of your time as you wait. Inasaidianga mtu aje akuwe better placed for whatever comes later.
Inakusaidianga because sometimes you might be so focused on one thing. Because if I was so focused on journalism, because kulikuwa na ile time yenye nilifanya a bit of journalism, I became a presenter. Ilikuwa more of attachment, but I became a presenter. But after that, I thought, si sasa juu nishakuwa na experience ya 3 years, sasa nikitoka hapa nishaiva degree yangu, nikitoka hapa niende ni apply job RMS, watanichukua wanipatia na wako na 13 radio stations, nitakosa aje 13 wananihitaji, nimeiva. But shock on me, wacha nikwambie hiyo time. Yani shock on me manze, ulikuwa unaenda una apply job, unagonga mwamba, una apply job, unagonga mwamba. Na hiyo kitu yenye Bobby amesema saizi, kuna mtu aliwahi niambia, by the way you're overqualified. Akaniambia ile dwenye enye tutakulipa hapa, you don't, nikiangalia papers zako na experience yako, juu time nilikuwa lucky enough na hiyo experience ya 3 years ya radio. Aliniambia tu cheki tutakuwa tunakuwaste. Imagine aliniambia hivyo. Na mimi sasa hizo akili yangu ilikuwa focus, nataka hiyo do, nataka hiyo job. So in a way pia huo msee alinifungua akili juu aliniambia you're overqualified. So if I pay you this amount of money ama nikikupatia hiyo job, mimi naona kama nimekushukisha chini juu wewe hii CV yako venye imeiva hivi na hii experience yote, I think you deserve something. So at that particular moment I felt so bad, but later on in life venye nilienda nikajita kama mkutano nikajiambia msee ameniambia kitu ya maana. So nikakaa chini nikajiambia, you know what, usifocus sana na historia ya journalism. Nilijiambia God's time is the best. Unaona hii job itakam tu ile time. Jota nilikujanga RMS bado nikafanya internship actually Hot 96, nikafanya social media, something that I had never done before. I was on Twitter but I had never run an account on Twitter. So nilikuja nikarun socials za Hot 96. That was a new experience for me. So nilikaa hivi chini nikajiambia acha kukuwa so much focused on radio. Si ukue open on other things, fanya social media. Nikakuja nikafanya hiyo social media. Nikatoka hapo nikaenda another institution. I also did something different. Then nikaenda mahali safi. Now this one I'm telling you. Nikakuwa secretary wa msee. Kwani nilikuwa nimetoa wapi? Nikaenda nikakaa chini na nikasema unajua ni aje, na nilikuwa nakanjwa, nikasema unajua ni aje, hii nayo nitaipiga. So mimi nilikuwa open minded in terms of I was like I know where my goal is. Sikuwa lose focus, nilikuwa na keep eyes on the prize. But hapa chini nilikuwa najua aje lazima ni pia nijenge CV yangu, lazima nikuwe na experience. So hapa nikitengeneza experience zangu na CV yangu hapa down, nilikuwa najua one day one time lazima nikuwe radio presenter. But hapa chini you're making your CV, unajenga CV yako. So mimi nilikuwa natengeneza CV. By the time nilikuwa nakuja hapa, hata nilikamkwambiwa later, enye CV yako nayo ilijiuza, lakini pia confidence. Acha nikwambie kitu important yenye pia Bobby amesema. Lazima ujiamini. Ukienda hiyo interview, usiende hapo ukiwa unprepared. There are people who walk in an interview, you know you're going to be asked, tell us about yourself. Unaget? Lakini hata ujui ujibu nini. Unajua hiyo ndio question ya kwanza utaulizwa, but ujui ujibu nini. Mimi nilikuwa research about RMS. I knew everything. Hata wangeniuliza ni radio stations ngapi ziko huku. But the funniest thing, I didn't come for that radio job. I came for another job. Nikajiambia nimekaribia. Yes, nafanya job ingine, but nimekaribia radio. Si nimeingia RMS, nishaingia RMS. But si wako na 13 radio stations, so itajalisha ni radio gani. But one day, one time. So nikakuja nikaanza na hiyo job ingine. And then now the opportunity for radio came and I didn't even know it was Radio Citizen. So pole pole tu, climbing that ladder pole pole, unajua.
See where you are today.
See where I am today.
Right.
So light, unajua light is at the end of the tunnel, ndo ile light pale, but una build two time yako.
But the reason I asked you that, and CJ, this is where you come in. Swali muhimu inakuanga hiyo 5-year experience napata wapi? Na sijakuwa na kazi, ni graduate, sijawahi get a job. So natoa wapi 5-year experience?
You know, we underestimate the power of volunteering in spaces. And you can start doing that at a very early age. You can show up in different places, non-profit organizations, NGOs, just different spaces. Because the most important thing about that is not necessarily the experience, but the skills that you have acquired, that you've been doing something with yourself. That's something that, you know, even when you go into spaces like embassies, for example, and you are in between, they want to know what have you been doing in between, because are you home for 3 years hoping that you'll get a visa to travel? So if you have nothing that is tying you up over here, then most probably you don't intend to come back. You know, everybody wants to know that somebody's making progress in a way or the other. When you're a lecturer in universities, they want to know that you're constantly in either research, or you're writing journals, or you're attending courses and attending seminars, because you're growing in knowledge constantly. When you're a doctor, because knowledge it keeps on increasing and improving. So if you've been doing nothing within a certain period of time, first of all, your knowledge is redundant. You're not up to date. Secondly, if you're coming in and you've never done anything, the first thing you have to teach you is a work ethic. You'll first of all be struggling even with waking up because you have no personal discipline. We have to start dealing with how you dress up, how you talk. So it's a lot of work. So you have to keep on offering yourself in various spaces just to show that you've got some skills. You've got a drive. You can't come in with your CV saying self-driven and you've been home for the last 3 years.
and those who are graduates of wako na degree but wako na ile standard, there are certain things. I'm a graduate. I mean, how do you expect me to just go and do
Django?
You see, the interesting thing is that when we go abroad, we lay that aside.
Yeah.
When we go abroad, we lay that aside.
Yeah.
We become nannies. We polish shoes, we drive trucks, we do, as long as you're earning money. And that's why I say that education is supposed to just cause you to have a very open mind around the life and the world that you're living in. It's only when we are here, which is not an issue of socialization. When we are here, I begin thinking, what would Bobby think if she saw me driving a taxi? How will Kitty take it if she meets me in the Uber? So let me not do that. But then, you see, maybe if she gets into the Uber and finds me driving it, the respect will go up because of the effort that I'm putting into it. So I'll be stuck at home, then I'm sending them text messages and say, guys, bail me out. Yet, if I had this taxi, they would be patronizing and probably getting other people to come in. So instead of lending me money, anytime they want to go out, even if they don't need a cab, they'll just feel like, let's promote him, and they'll spend it over there. So we're all growing. They're getting value. I'm getting value. You retain respect. We have to shed off some of the stigmas that we have around certain kind of jobs. And you see, when Kitty was talking, so I was just thinking about, I nearly picked my phone to start typing, and then I said the camera guys will just zoom in on me. And I look distracted, but not. So I was just thinking that the first thing anybody who has nothing to do needs to do is to be outgoing. So I'll give you like 3 or 4 O's. One is be outgoing. Meet people. Be in spaces where people who can give you things are. Just go out there, whether it is on social media, you can engage people in their DMs, you can reach to people that you probably would not reach physically, or go into spaces where people meet, social spaces. You don't have to go and buy a drink, just meet people, Come around RMS, hang around the gates, look crazy for a while, but meet people, talk about yourself, be outgoing.
Look sharp and calm. You never know.
Yeah, so, be outgoing. Number 2, be open-minded.
Yes.
Be open-minded. That's the part where now you don't get stuck to what you are trained in, what you think you deserve, what you think you're qualified for, and what you think you want to show your friends that you are doing. Be very open-minded. So if you're going to start from the lowest, start from there. I've got a gentleman, and he's in his 40s, just about to hit 50. I think he's 49 right now. If he tells you where he started life at, and right now he's a surgical theater manager in one very serious hospital. This guy, if he tells you where he started, he didn't even get to Form 4. And the first job he ever got in the city, because he was an orphan, so he came in through one of his uncles who never even gave him an opportunity. But then somebody else came and picked him up from there and then went with him. He had a different uncle who would drive ambulance around. So he said, you'll keep me company. And they started moving around with his uncle who was driving this ambulance. Then he got a job in a hospital as a cleaner. And that guy grew himself from cleaning the hospital to right now, he trains graduates on how to set up theaters for surgery.
Wow.
Be open-minded. Start from anywhere.
Going open-minded.
Open-minded. Number 3, seize the opportunities that you have.
Opportunities.
Whatever comes that you can do, take it.
All right.
Don't wait for what you are longing for. Nobody owes you anything. Life doesn't. So whatever comes in, take it, make use of it, maximize it. Probably that opportunity is what will lead you to the opportunities you're looking for.
All right. Huenda hiyo Uber, huyo mtu umebeba, akisikia mnaongea mambo ya siasa, naona by the way you're sharp. Ulisomea wapi? Naona by the way mimi niko na master. Huenda huyo mtu ndiye akakuemploy by the way. You never know. So let's get to sample a few of the messages you've sent us. We want to hear what your thoughts are. I mean, we're talking about the youth unemployment crisis in our country, and I'm sure this is something that hit closer home. In every home, there is that bright young man or young lady who has no opportunity, has no job. And this is what you're saying. We have so many opportunities for the youths happening on the ground. Uwezo Fund, Women Enterprise Fund, Youth Enterprise Fund. If you're a youth, kindly jitume.
All right. CJ is right. Many companies have closed down, including where I used to work, Delarue. The 5-year tender was awarded to a German company, yet there is money printing firm here in Kenya. It could have employed so many young people. We should change our mindset. After graduation, we should focus on creating job opportunities, not seeking the job opportunities. All right. We have another one here saying the youth are running into a state of frustration as they remain jobless for many years since leaving college. The situation is getting worse by the day. It is time our youth became creative and create something to do to earn a living. Okay, there's one who is saying unemployment is affecting so many, not only the youth, but even people in 40s and even late 40s. Hey, ground Sipoa. Hey, it's true, ground Sipoa. I have been a police officer, a journalist, soccer player, and a business person, and lecturer, and God knows what next. We're very versatile. I like this one.
Yeah.
I mean,
Open-minded.
you've done almost everything. I mean, I like this one. By the way, tukikwambia vitu tumefanya na hii mikono kabla we came and sat here.
Yeah.
It's true. Tuite kahawa tukupe story. The things we've done with these hands before we got here. I mean, it's all about kujituma, and I like what my panelists have said this morning. So I'd just like to give them a chance for their final round of, parting shot. Yeah? Tuanzie wewe.
Leo I think ningekaa pale kwa audience ndo nisikize hiyo wisdom imerushwa hapa leo. But it's true, everything my colleagues have said is very true. Have confidence in yourself. Throw yourself out there. Be willing to do whatever comes. And if you have skills, please usizilalie. No matter how small you think it is, it could be a small something like speaking. Mimi, I deliberately decided I want to be a good speaker. I want to talk and people listen to me. So even to have an opportunity on this panel where it actually came into fruition and I talk and CJ tells me, nilikusikia, I'm like, CJ, ulinisikia, what? It's so surreal, but it's such a big change, such a huge step towards growth. So please, whatever skills you have, please don't sleep on them. Throw yourself out there. Teach yourself confidence, even if you're faking it. Act like it, mpaka ikwe who you are. And then do your thing. Everything else, now siji compare. Everything comes in its own time. Trust yourself, believe in yourself, and just put yourself out there.
Cutie?
Work on yourself. Hakuna investment deadly kuliko yako we mwenyewe. Hiyo investment wataka kupatia watu wengine na vitu zingine. Imagine put it on you. Skills, knowledge, always learn. Usifikirie you know better than everyone. Always kuwa open-minded, learn vitu na ujitume. Hapo pa kujituma sana. Wachiki venye mimi nilijituma, si ati ilikam easy, but as CJ said, I worked, hiyo time yenye nilikuwa hiyo job, niliwork 3 years radio without being paid by anyone. Unaget? So lazima ubuild your confidence, lazima ubuild CV yako, jitume na usingoje opportunities zikam. And grab hizo opportunities we mwenyewe. So, yeah.
Right. Lakini work bila pay, our Gen Z.
Gori.
Hapo ndio unatoa hiyo 5-year experience. Unaulizia swali ya 5-year experience, hapo ndio unatoa hiyo 5-year experience. Right, CJ?
Well, I've talked about the 3 O's, and the last one would be keep yourself optimistic. Because the moment you lose hope, you're losing everything. You always have to have hope that tomorrow will be better. Something else will come up. And you cannot be dependent on other people or external factors to raise your optimism high. You have to tell yourself every day, I'll do my best. It will keep on getting better. And even if you are at a lower level than what you expect, you look for the positives in it, because there are other people who don't even have something to do. You may not be getting paid, but you're getting connected. You're learning skills. You're growing in so many ways with that. Lastly, somebody has texted me and said, how are you coping with all the sheng in the studio?
It's just managing.
Well, yeah. That's the part of, you take the opportunities that come.
Part of the growth.
But get yourself up every morning, find something to do, find an area to improve yourself. Just find something to learn and something to do. And within a short period, it may take long, but within a short period, you will find yourself in the spaces that you dreamt of and spaces you desired.
hata Mungu anaweza reward mtu.
I know, right?
Hiyo skill, I mean, ulienda shule umelana uko na hiyo skill, mbona uilalie? You know, you could use it to just change the world somewhere. And even God can just reward you for that spirit of just volunteering your services somewhere. I mean, do something. That is what we're encouraging you to do this morning. And I love how we are winding up this morning. We hope that we have inspired you in one way or the other. It's not all doom and gloom. It's actually a challenge upon you to take up this challenge and go out there, be optimistic, and do something for yourself. Fight for your space in this world. That's what I'll tell you. That's a wrap. And thank you so much for watching Citizen this morning. Keep watching. We still have a lot that we're working on round the clock for you. My name is Safina Chengoma. Have a lovely day ahead.